Washington.
All right, it is time. It is 9:15, and that means in the house, Prairie Wife in Heels, Kathy Holman. Hey, how are you, Kathy?
I'm doing good, and I am loving that warm weather.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Oh my gosh, beautiful.
Summertime, the kids are out of school, last day of school yesterday.
Hallelujah. Angels are singing.
Yes, except for some people, because now they've got these kids at home and they don't know what to do.
Hallelujah, you got them at the house.
I love it.
Right.
I miss my kids. I am that obnoxious mom that counts down the days to summer because I love it. I love being with my kids. If you are on my prairiewifeinheels.com Facebook page and Instagram, they were eating ice cream this morning for breakfast. That's our tradition for the first day of summer break. Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
But people have a lot of different situations going on.
Yes.
So, for you, it means more time for your kids.
Yeah.
For people who work on a full-time job, they've been able to, they're in school, and so they're taken care of. So now you got to figure out something else.
Yeah.
For those of us who are, a little older, and our kids are a little older, they're, we don't have to worry about leaving them home alone, but we have to worry about them with just staying in front of the screens all day long and trying to get them out of the house and do something. So, there are a lot of prongs to our conversation this morning, and that's one of them. Is like, what do you do with your kids in the summertime?
Yeah, because it definitely is a shift in the balance, right? And I would just like to say that it's not like I'm little Miss Susie Sunshine, birds singing, in the morning and everything like that. It's the kids get up, they watch cartoons until mommy gets up, and then we have breakfast and everything like that. But there really are some amazingly fun things to do in Casper with your kids that really don't cost a lot of money. So that's something I love about living here.
Right.
Yeah.
Some of those things, there are a number of institutions that have summer camps.
Yeah, the rec center has an amazing 5-day. I have a lot. You were talking about friends that work. I have some friends that work, and their daycare is only during the school year, and so they have their kids going to that rec camp that they have at the center. And there's some pretty fun activities that those kids get to do. So that's a really good thing.
Right. I'm pretty sure the Boys and Girls Club has activities going on.
Yep.
And the YMCA also.
Yes.
There are also summer camps at the Casper Planetarium.
And the Science Zone. My kids have done that many years. Zach, little shout out to him. He is phenomenal. They love those week-long summer camps with the Science Zone.
Right.
Really good experiences with that. And they're probably not all filled up, and they have them throughout the whole entire summer. So that's a really good thing to do with your kids.
Nicolaitan Art Museum also has summer camps and a number of other places. So, and I think part of that, too, is just try to keep your children engaged. In the learning process, there's a lot of, and it's probably a whole nother show, whether or not you should have school year round or whether or not you should have summers off, because they can lose that whole learning process and lose some of the knowledge.
The teacher, so some listeners, some listeners may not know that I actually have an education degree.
Yes,
and I taught first grade and second grade in Cheyenne for 5 years before I went to the stay-at-home mom gig. And I actually homeschool my kids 3 days a week during the summer. There's a post on my Prairie Wife blog that has some really good resources for you. But by homeschool, I just mean you find some appropriate workbooks, some good activities, sit them down for an hour and just have them do it. A lot of us focus on reading, and there's some great reading program. You hear my teacher voice here?
I do.
There's some great reading programs at the library to encourage kids to read, but I think a lot of parents forget about the math, the social studies, and the handwriting. You guys would be amazed at how the kids' hands hurt for the first 3 weeks of school, because all summer long they're not coloring, they're not writing letters, they're not doing papers. So especially those of you that have little kids, just coloring, Play-Doh, tearing paper, get them stickers. I could go on and on.
Well, and here's my soapbox. This antiquated school year that this country has, based around an agrarian system, teachers have told me, you probably experienced it, the first few weeks of the fall term
They're terrible.
are spent catching up, reminding them what they where they left off in May.
Yeah, they do lose, Roger. That is 100% correct. And so that's why I would encourage parents just 3 days a week. Plus, I'm going to be honest with you, my life is easier on the homeschool days because we eat breakfast, they do their chores outside with the animals, come in, and then they're sitting there for an hour with undivided mom attention, using their brains, and then they cannot wait to get away from me. You know what I mean? So it's really adds a little bit of structure, and then the rest of the day goes a lot smoother when we have that sitting down, using their brain time, and it's not as hard as you would think. You do not need, like I said, get those workbooks. Sam's Club has them, Target has them. Sit down, have them do it. It's not as hard as you would think, and it's going to pay off. And their teachers notice. My kids' teachers comment every year.
Well, and one of the other things they have going on every year, and it's this year it's already in motion, is the Passport to Adventure.
Oh, yeah.
Which is the Casper Museum Consortium.
Yes.
So, you get your passport, you go to all these different museums, and you get it stamped, and then you get entered for prizes and that sort of thing. But it really makes you, I'm looking for it, and thank you, Rachel, for dropping these by, at all the different places, that are available. And I forget, and you and I were going through and going, I've never been to the Mormon Handcart.
Yeah, there are a few.
There.
I actually was surprised because I'm able to be a stay-at-home mom, and especially I know you other moms out there that are listening, January and February, we can be found at the museums nonstop. But the Tate Geological Museum, I love that one because it's free. You can be there for 5 minutes if your kid freaks out and not feel like, you know what I mean, you just did it all for naught. And then there's been other times where we've stayed there for an hour, and it's just so fun.
Right.
It's just so fun. That's one of my favorite ones. And then I was telling Susan, the Historic Trails Center, my kids, place. My son loved that so much that is actually where we had his 5th birthday party, because that's where he wanted to have it. So we had a Davy Crockett themed party, and we had the cake in the room there, and the kids played, and they love it. That is a family favorite.
Just to run through a few more: Art 321, the Bishop Home, the Casper Planetarium, Crimson Dawn. People forget that that's a museum and not just a place to go on the summer solstice. I mean, it's a museum up there.
I haven't been to that one.
The Fort Casper. What? Okay.
I'm sorry.
I haven't been to that one either.
Thank you, Roger. We'll go together, Roger. Field trip. Field trip.
Take some morning show field trip. Fort Casper Museum, the Mormon Handcart Historic Sites, the Trail Center,
the Science Zone.
Science Zone is
and the
fabulous.
first, I think it's the first Thursday of the month is free for people that just want to check it out and see. We usually get a membership because, like I said, it's perfect. My 12-year-old can have fun there, and my 2- and 3-year-olds can have fun there. It really is really good one.
Right. Werner Wildlife Museum. And this is one that people don't think about. The Western History Center, which is on the 2nd floor of the Goodstein Foundation Library at Casper College.
I don't know that one either.
That's a very interesting place, and I've only been there once, and I need to go back. The Wyoming Veterans Memorial Museum. I mean, there are lots and lots of places to go. Here. There we go. So you can see it.
There also are tons of outdoor things.
Yes.
And I have to admit to all the listeners that I kind of didn't want to talk about all the stuff that we do because, like, Susan was joking when she was promoting the show earlier about how, we don't want you to ruin our secret fun. And I have to admit, I feel that way a little bit. Yeah, that was me. But because I love you guys, my 2 favorite things to do with my kids is the first thing is the waterfall at the Bridle Trail, because even my 3-year-old can walk up that short little trek. There's some great picnic spots. They can splash around, and you're dry by the time you walk back to the car. The trick with that, though, is to get there before 11 o'clock. Because a lot of people show up and they do the picnic at 11 o'clock. So if you want it to yourself, a weekday, show up around 9 o'clock or so, and then be out of there around 11:30 before it gets too hot and before the crowd shows up. So that's a really good one. And then my other secret spot is Edna's. We're there probably 2 times a week, every week in the summer, because there's beach for the little ones to play and dig. There's fish that the kids can catch with nets with their hands. It's got shady areas if you have young babies that you can put the baby and not have to worry about sunburn and overheating. And of course they can swim. We have paddle boards. We have friends that bring kayaks. You can tube. It's absolutely phenomenal. Phenomenal. That was a big word to use this early in the morning. So that's another really good one. And we've been going for 10 years. I know some people are leery of the water there. We have never, knock on wood, ever gotten sick or caught anything. And once again, the earlier the better for that one too.
You've never gotten sick or caught anything?
Meaning caught any
I see. I'm sorry.
bacterial or parasitic. Some people, I have
Mm.
some friends that are like, you let your kids swim at Edna's and they start backing away slowly. And we have never had any issues, and they have drank the water. I'm sorry. You can't keep a 2-year-old from drinking pond water.
Yeah, first of all, if you can't catch anything, you're probably not going to get sick. You have nothing to eat. Yeah, okay, I got it.
You can't eat the fish you catch there. It is a catch and release. Like, someone has left koi in there. I'm not kidding you. There is a huge orange koi fish. I swear we catch that poor guy every year. And he is like 1.5 feet long.
And he's
no
getting
kidding,
tired
really?
of
The
it. by
kid,
way.
I know
Yeah.
you'd think he would figure out when he sees goldfishy crackers to swim the other way,
Man.
but he doesn't have it figured out yet. But the kids, like, they dig a big hole, and then we put a black trash bag in so you can put the water in and make a little holding pond, and then we have an umbrella over it because you don't want the fish they catch to die. And we have a process. You guys can tell this is our jam.
I love it.
Most
so
gullible
fun, though.
fish on the planet.
At Edna's, yeah.
Man, it happened again. Dead.
Every
Darn
week,
it.
every
I
week.
fell for that
You
again.
would think he would know on Tuesdays to just lay low.
Yeah.
Well, and a lot of people did mention that. They mentioned, biking on the North Platte River, walking. Our friend Bill said his favorite place is Amico Park and the Labyrinth. There are a lot of hidden treasures, right here in town. And nearby the Garden Creek Falls,
Yeah.
Natural Bridge. down
Yeah,
in
I
Glen Rock.
haven't made it to Natural Bridge. I know, I am terrible. I know, and I seriously
And
even.
Ian's eyebrows even
I
went
know,
up on that.
I
with
know,
you.
and we live so close. Okay, so there we go.
You
that
live in Glen Rock.
I know.
Okay.
Sorry, I just shouted and probably blew everyone's eardrums out. I will do, okay, this year, that is our summer, on our summer list, Natural Bridge. And another thing that I wanted to add, you were talking about walking. We really do have a great park system here.
Yes.
I
and
mean,
trails.
we really honestly do. I love it for walking with my kids. I love it for running on my own. It's just wonderful. I cannot speak highly enough about how wonderful our park system is here in Casper.
And if you want to
Yeah.
just take little day trips, there are a number of places that you can go. Out to Independence Rock. That's not that
Yeah,
far. If you've
yeah.
have you been out there?
I have.
Roger, have you been out to Independence
Where is this
Rock?
again?
On
Independence
the way to
Rock?
South Pass, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, I passed it. Yeah, but that's. I
Oh,
haven't-
no, you got to stop and see
You got to
it.
do like a
Whoa.
rubbing. Isn't that what it's called? Where you like put the paper up?
That's where
and-
everybody, all the pioneers stopped
Yeah.
and carved their names in the
Yep.
rock.
Yeah.
Because if you got to that rock on your way to California by Independence Day, you would probably make it safely.
No Donner
Ah.
Party
No Donner
situation.
Yeah.
No, that's why it's called
Well, and there's
Independence Rock.
so many beautiful places in the state. I went on to TripAdvisor just to kind of see what the lowdown was for great things to do in Wyoming and found the 10 best things to do in Wyoming. Roger, once again, I'm putting you on the spot
Oh.
because you don't have the secret notes. What do you think the number one thing to do in Wyoming is on TripAdvisor?
Whoa.
Do you want me to give
Other
you a
than Yellowstone?
That's it right there.
Yeah.
Yellowstone.
Yeah.
And then the next one, which I feel like, I mean, I know it's different than Yellowstone, but Grand Teton National Park was the next one.
Yeah.
And then the Buffalo Bill Center of the West in Cody.
That I want to see.
You haven't been to that?
I have not. I'm
I've not either.
What?
huge lover of the Old West. And,
He's shaking his head. What is
oh,
wrong with
yeah.
you people?
No, I have been. Okay, so first of all, I have to say that I did live in Cody for almost a year because that's
Yeah.
where I did my student teaching when I went to the University of Wyoming. So I've been to the Buffalo, and that's where my husband's from. So I've been there a bunch. I do have to admit, the gun room, not my favorite.
Really?
Just because my husband will spend 5 hours
Oh well,
there.
yeah, and it's you could you could give me a truckload of modern guns. I'd trade them all for an old Winchester. you know.
Well, and like I said, my husband loves that one. My boys love that one. They will just spend hours. Me, I like the Native American part. I'm fascinated by that. And then, of course, our whole entire family loves the wildlife
Well,
part.
to each their own. There you
Yeah,
are.
but it really-
you have
I-
a room to yourself.
Yeah, I cannot recommend. First of all, I love Cody. I absolutely love it. My heart is definitely there. It's an amazing little town, a great place to go. But yeah, the Buffalo Bill Center of the West, you guys need to go there. Another road trip. K2,
Okay.
K2
Yeah,
radio
we're good.
road trip.
There you are.
Another one was Devil's Tower.
Okay.
That was on there. And then the Snowy Range Raptor Center, which I have not heard of. I don't know anything about it.
The Snowy Range Scenic Byway,
Oh,
which
yep,
I've not been through.
That's another. There's a place outside of Cody. I can't remember what it's called. I know my husband's like yelling at the radio now, but it takes you up to sunlight, and there's a spot, a pullover spot, where there's chipmunks that will like crawl all over you and eat out of your hands. It's a scenic byway. I can't remember what it's called. I wish I could feel my husband's vibes because I know he's telling me. But anyway, there's just some amazing
Be
places.
sure to visit the tetanus shot booth right after, as
Rabies.
you pull out.
Rabies.
It's a
Rabies.
drive. It's a drive-through.
I'm
yeah.
not kidding. I have like old school pictures from before phones had cameras of a chipmunk on my husband's, at that time, boyfriend's shoulder. Like,
Yeah.
so just little things like that about Wyoming are what I love. All those little secret spots, family traditions, places where you stop, like go out, get out. I love Wyoming. I love summer. Can you guys feel my zen.
Yeah,
I'm so
I
happy.
do, yes. A couple of other things I did want to mention, though. In my snooping around to try to get ideas for this, I found that you can get an app that's Wyoming-based travel stories. There's a free GPS
Oh.
self-guided audio tour that'll take you along the North Platte River to 10 different stops.
That's cool.
So, and there's information on that on Visit Casper of where you can get that app, and it's kind of a self-guided tour to all these places. And also, if you just do a little looking like on TripAdvisor or just, a little Googling around, you can find sort of different out of the way things, especially if you have people coming to visit, like Historic Trails West, where you can actually get out in the covered wagon and go take either a 2-hour trip or a 4-hour trip.
Part of me feels
overnight.
like that would be amazingly fun. And then the
Yes.
other part of me that has gone camping with 5 children feels like maybe no.
Yeah.
But
I
even
can't
if it's
decide.
just a ride for 2 hours,
Yeah, that
or
would
an
be
afternoon thing.
that would be great. And the thing is too is I know that there are a lot of working parents out there, and sometimes you get torn with that whole it's summer and I'm working and my kids are. But there's so many daylight hours that you have those extra hours of daylight that you can come home from work.
And there are weekends.
Yeah, grab your kids, go take a quick hike. They even love things like an impromptu picnic in your yard. Even if you're just
Take
eating,
the tent out to the yard. Go camping in your
yes,
backyard.
they
if you need
love
to.
stuff like that. Or show up with the sidewalk chalk and hang out with them. Put your phone down, enjoy them. I'm guilty of that one too,
Okay.
But anyway, the summer's here. Tons of fun stuff to do locally and all around
But
Wyoming.
once they get older, it's just binging on Netflix,
Well,
Yeah.
you gotta find a way to get him out.
Well, good luck.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
working on it. Yeah.
Heck on, I'm almost through with
Well-
Breaking Bad. Yeah.
Yeah,
If you
thank
guys keep me around for a couple more years, I can tell you. Right now, my oldest is 12, and it's just no TV. Like, they're at home with the teenage babysitter right now, and they're allowed half an hour of the Wii after they get all their chores done. So,
All right.
yeah, just
Kathy,
be mean.
Can we come over to my house and whip some kids into shape? Very good. Kathy Holman, Prairie Wife and Heels. We've done it again. So thank you so much. And we'll see you back here next Friday.
Thanks for having. Oh no, wait, I'm actually gonna be gone next Friday.
Oh, you're gone
I
next
know,
Friday.
I
And
know.
then I'm gone
Sorry.
after that. We'll let you all know.
Yeah, it'll be a surprise when
It'll
you
be a
hear us again. Enjoy your summer break, everybody.